Hello and welcome to week 8 of Organization, Leadership, and Decision Making. Moving right into the agenda, we'll be discussing the assignments and touching on the reading associated with this week, or perhaps the next week, because I try to spread out some of these chapters so that there's one every week, even though they may be what you're not asked to read. So, first to the assignments. By the end of this week, uh, hopefully you'll be able to characterize how trustworthy and ethical leaders enhance knowledge sharing in an organization. And that implies that we're going to be focusing on knowledge sharing. There's two articles you need to read, two journals articles. Make sure you read those because you need to do that in order to do your assignments related to them. The week 8 written assignment is as follows. After you've read those journal articles, you understand that they focus on transformational leadership, knowledge, and knowledge sharing within an organization. So, how do trustworthy and ethical leaders enhance knowledge sharing in organizations? How does this impact the rate of information technology implementations, and how does this impact data management within organizations? How does servant leadership assist with transferring knowledge in an organization? And when thinking about data analytics, how does transformational leadership assist with building good data structures? As always, respond to these prompts in 3 to 5 pages of writing, not including title page or references. Make sure that you're following APA guidelines. That includes both formatting and the way that you write. And this is not something new, so hopefully these are becoming very clear. Make sure that you should use headings to organize your thoughts, and also make sure that you're transforming these prompts into the appropriate types of headings. In week 9, we'll be looking at leadership styles within information about leadership styles within an organization. By the end of that week, you'll be able to evaluate and identify leader traits and attributes that are most beneficial in implementing the best decisions in an organization, and explain the differences in charismatic and transformational leadership. For that week, you'll be expected to read chapters 6, 7, and 8 out of the text. The discussion for that week is to discuss identity leader traits and attributes that are most beneficial in implementing the best decisions in an organization. Explain the differences in charismatic and transformational leadership and how both leadership styles impact organizational effectiveness. Please note how these leadership styles affect implementing new innovative technologies. Review table 8.1 in the text. Note the work characteristics and traditional versus high performance focus. Note which focus is best for strategic decisions and which is best for operational decisions, and then explain. Make sure you do respond to one of your classmates or two of your classmates in a substantial way using one of the potential choices listed on the screen. As much as possible, try to keep your post into an APA format so that the citations and such are similar, understanding that you can't always do everything inside of a discussion board to make it truly APA compliant, and certainly don't upload a Word document. That's not necessary. The rubric for any written assignments is consistent through this course. I continually remind you and encourage you all to strive towards the excellent column. And that all starts with a well-written thesis statement that is supported by a set of subtopics. Once you've done that, then the rest of it kind of follows. Moving on to the reading for this week. And actually, this is somewhat for next week, but moving on to part 4, contemporary leadership, chapter 16. And actually, I'm going to skip a good bit ahead here because of timing and whatnot. So, leading in urban and regional innovation. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain what regional innovation systems are and why they are important in the economic development of regions. Explain how leaders within them need to find novel, context-specific means of influence where their actions and words may have no formal authorization. Explain what place-based leadership is and understand that it differs significantly from organization-based leadership. Also explain the indirect nature of place-based leadership and understand its generative nature. Explain why in regional innovation system leader-follower relations are indirect and often contested. The nature of place-based leadership for urban or regional innovation. The structurally oriented studies tend to downplay issues related to human agency and thus neglect the role many actors play in local and regional changes. There is a need to see beyond standard public policy repertoires to identify what leaders actually do to influence economic development in their regions. The rationale behind regional innovation strategies is to enhance knowledge-based economic development and more specifically to boost collective learning for economic and social renewal through introduction of innovation. Place-based leaders work to improve a regional innovation system to support better regional organization and individuals. They work to mobilize and coordinate resources and competencies of many actors to change institutions, interaction patterns, and mindsets for innovation. In doing so, they aim to construct a shared vision to provide heterogeneous groups of actors with a direction. So when we talk about place-based leadership, it's defined as a regional innovation system is a multi defined as a regional innovation system is a multi-actor context where no actor or leader alone has the power or resources to change the system to better boost innovation processes. Not just the concern of public agencies or elected local regional government alone, the diversity of actors and multi-voice nature of any region may add significantly to their resources, innovation capacity, and powers of regional and local economies. Many place-based leaders are strongly motivated by their emotional attachment to the place and or the issues they address. Place-based leaders work to engage other actors in regional development efforts. They will also need to understand the opportunities and restrictions provided by the location, as well as the many social networks that are shaping its character. Place-based leadership is rather seen a force in time than a leader-follower relationship in the here and now. Place leaders is an actor who works to influence other actors for regional innovation. A resource holder is an individual or group of individuals or an organization having some kind of resources and or powers that are or might be important for regional development and innovation perspective, but who are not assigned to work for regional development. It is not their mission to shape a selected region innovation system or some aspects of it. Knowledge producers are actors whose primary work is to produce new knowledge and its application, as well as interpretations of current events and future trends. They are not working to develop a region or make significant decisions, but they may influence either directly or indirectly the thinking of others. Decision makers, similar to resource holders, to refer to all those actors having power to make decisions to influence regional development without having a mission to do so. So here we see how those various elements interact with each other. As you can determine from what we've talked about so far, this is all about influence and encouraging behavior rather than having authority to make something happen. And you've got a set of people that you're trying to get them to do what you would like them to do so that you can make a change in a location. So perhaps this is an area where you grew up and you recognize that it could benefit through some application of an innovative approach to something. So maybe it's a farming community and they could utilize better methods of farm production or whatever it might be. So the basic idea here is that it's all about indirect influence and about trying to persuade and encourage people that either have information, can make decisions, or have resources that are necessary for the change to be made in an innovative way. Generative leadership, a missing link in transformation transformative efforts. Its place-based leaders generate such processes that presumably in the course of time lead to transformational outcomes. Generative leadership, in addition to well-developed place literacy, calls for sophisticated process literacy. It is about setting things to move for giving birth to something new in a region. There is a set of research required to investigate how generative leadership may lead to transformative action and bridge transformative and transformational leadership to form a coherent whole in the context of regional innovation systems. Criticisms and exemplary research. Be careful not to stress too much on the importance of place-based leadership and aim for casualties between leadership and regional economic development. We might wind up searching for causality between easily identified variables such as formally assigned leaders and GDP growth. To keep in mind that scale and national governance systems matter in the place-based leadership, and the capabilities and local regional resources required to lead across organizational divides differ greatly. Aries also reminds place-based leadership scholars not becoming self-serving, as several scholars in other disciplines, for example, political network theory, has carried out our research on similar topics, transforming an understanding of place-based leadership as well. And with that, we've reached the end of this chapter. As always, if you have any questions about the material, do feel free to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Stay safe, and we'll speak again next week.